How's it going, boys? Johnny Superb Man here, bringing you a quick little video explaining what I'm going to be doing for the next GM Mode commentary series, alright? So we had to finish with the New Jersey Devils. It was a lot of fun, but it's time to move on, and I might make I'm going to make some changes to make the experience better for me and for you guys watching it, alright? So, from the top, we're going to do another 5 years. I've been getting a lot of messages saying, Johnny, do like a 10-year, 15-year. Boys, I mean, we're already in January. The game came out in September, all right? NHL 13 is going to be around the corner before you know it. If I do 10, 15 years, we're only going to get, I don't know, 3 or 4 teams done. If I keep it to 5 years, I keep it fresh. I can keep switching to different teams. You know, a lot of people out there want me to do their team. I'm not going to get to every team, but if we keep it to 5 years, I can get to most teams, okay? So we're going to keep it to 5 years once again. I'm going to pick an NHL team, all right? I've been getting messages to do a fantasy draft or bring a Canadian team or an international team into the game. It's only going to be NHL teams, boys, all right? I don't want to do a fantasy draft either because then players are all over the place, and after I do my fantasy draft, there's no emotional attachment. I would have no problem trading away everybody in a fantasy draft. So, I want to keep it to real life NHL teams, all right, with the most recent updated roster, okay? We're going to keep injuries off as well. I really liked how I could simulate through the big chunk of the 82-game regular season and talk about topics in the NHL. If I had injuries on, every game I'd be micromanaging going into the edit lines, coming back out. And I wouldn't be able to talk about one topic because I'd be thinking to myself, and it'd be a lot of, okay, he's over here, oh, freaking autosave. It'd be a lot of that instead of being able to talk, 10 minutes straight while the simulation's going on in the background. So we're going to keep injuries off, all right? And now here's something new I'm going to add on. All the once the juniors, the World Juniors are done, I'm going to look at all the top scorers. I also saw all your comments. I know which players. I don't know, but I have a good idea of which players are going in the top 10 for this year's scout or this year's draft. So I'm going to go in and edit a bunch of the rookies to the lower 80s and give them higher potential. Because if we go back in every single NHL game, that draft class of rookies, they're always like Nugent Hopkins when they did the roster update. He was in the 80s. Last year, Taylor Hall, he was in the 80s. All right, same with Tyler Seguin. So I think it's only fair that we make it so the top 3 are in like the 80s with really good potential, so they're ready to go right away. Okay, if you remember, I didn't always get the first round pick, so it would help other teams as well and make it. The rookies have got to progress better, so I get more into scouting. It'll help me. So I have a list of players that I'm going to edit, and I'm going to also make a video showing you guys how I edited them so you know that I didn't make anyone too cheap, all right? And also you guys can go and then edit your own rosters that way as well, okay? So I'm going to do a completely new video. It'll be a part of this video on edited rookies, okay? But I'm not going to edit any current NHL players. Trust me, I'd love to. I've been getting plenty of messages saying, oh, Johnny, you got to make Claude Giroux better. He's so much better in real life. And I agree, he should be a 90, but I'm not going to start doing that because if I did it for one team, I'd have to do it for every team. I'm sure there's examples of that on every team. Trust me, I'm a Leaf fan, okay? Joffrey Lupul's like an 83 or an 84. He should be like higher 80s. Phil Kessel's only an 87. He should be in the 90s. They're like top 5 in scoring. So trust me, I understand, okay? But I'm not going to edit any NHL players no matter what. Whatever EA Sports tells me whatever they are with the current roster update, that's what we're going to use, okay? So I'm not editing any NHL players, so don't send me any messages for that. And I'm also going to add another new rule. Remember in the last franchise, the New Jersey Devils, our first year, even if we wanted to try and make the cup, we really can't because you can't make that first trade until the trade deadline, and you might be out of the playoffs by then. So what I'm going to do now is as soon as the season starts up, while I'm still in the preseason, I can make one trade, okay? Now, I can try to make this trade over and over again. It's not like where I get one opportunity. No, I can keep going until I make that one trade. So that way I can make any team, well, not necessarily any team, but if I pick a team that is ready to be a playoff contender, I can give them that one trade before the season even starts so that we can be competitive in that first year, okay? So I'm going to add that. In the preseason of year 1, I can make one trade. I can try as many times as I want, but once it goes through, that's my one trade, and then I have to wait to the trade deadline, okay? So that'll make it a bit more so we can get off to a good start. We're not always going to be sacrificing the first year, basically. All right? So there's all the new rules. Everything else is going to stay the same, but here's what everyone's been waiting for. Which team are we going to use? All right. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. All right? I'm not going to let you guys choose from 30 teams. I've narrowed it down to 3 teams. I'm going to put 3 comments, okay? Look at the bottom. Mine will be the first 3 comments. All right, I'm going to put 3 different comments of the 3 different teams. don't comment on your own team. I'm not even going to look at that. Go down and thumbs up one of these three, because it's going to be one of these three teams. It's either going to be the Detroit Red Wings. Can we, what I want to do with Detroit, if I get the Detroit Red Wings, is consistently be a cup team. I'm not going to rebuild, none of that. We're going to do what the Detroit Red Wings do best. Stay old and win cups. Let's see if I can stay competitive for 5 years in a row with the Detroit Red Wings. That's what we would do with Detroit, okay? The second team, the Nashville Predators. These guys have been knocking on the playoff door. Well, they've been in the playoffs, sorry. They've been knocking on the Western Conference final door, or the second round. Well, they made it to the second round last year, but you know what I mean. They're knocking on that being a good team door. They just need a little push in the right direction. I'd love to make them a defensive-minded team. Keep Pekka Rinne, keep Weber, and just make them a huge team. Defensive defensemen everywhere, power forwards, grinders, one of those teams, all right? So that's what I would do with the Nashville Predators, and I would always try to be competitive with them. No rebuilding there either. Same with Detroit. And the last team, but definitely not the least, is the Toronto Maple Leafs, my baby Leafs. Now, this would be a very interesting one because they do need more rebuilding. Absolutely. They have a competitive team, but they still need those first liners to help out. They really do. So if I pick Toronto, it would be a lot of trading. The team would be completely different, all right? But again, I would not try to rebuild. First year, that's why I introduced this first year trade, so that we can be competitive right from day one, okay? So it's either going to be the Detroit Red Wings, the Nashville Predators, or the Toronto Maple Leafs. 3 comments will be down at the beginning of the comments. Go thumbs up which one. And whatever one, when I decide to start up the GM mode commentaries, has the most, I'll pick that team. All right, boys? So there you go. There's all the new rules. There's your 3 choices. And the next GM mode commentary will be coming out soon. Take it easy, boys.